I thought my life was over. Fired for spending my own money to feed a stranger. Then, 100 motorcycles roared down my quiet Oregon street, their riders carrying bundles of cash. In one evening, I went from an unemployed waitress to a fully funded nursing student. But what did that hungry man whisper to his brotherhood to make them do all this for me? The fluorescent lights of Mel's Diner buzzed in the pre-dawn quiet as I wiped down tables. I was 26, and for 3 years, I'd been stuffing crumpled bills into a mason jar hidden behind my radiator. $237. It was my nursing school fund. My mom's illness had put my dreams on hold. I had to choose survival over education. Her acceptance letter to the same program years ago sat on my kitchen counter, right next to a stack of unpaid bills. At 4:17 a.m., the bell over the door chimed. A man, soaked from the rain, stumbled in. He wore a patched leather jacket and looked like he'd been through a storm, both outside and in. He carefully counted out quarters and dimes on the counter, trying to scrape enough together for a coffee. 55 cents. He was 30 cents short. His shoulders slumped, and I saw a look I knew all too well, pride fighting a losing battle against desperation. I'd seen it in my own mirror. Without a second thought, I added my last few tip quarters to his pile. I slid a steaming cup of coffee and a slice of day-old apple pie across the counter. "Thank you," he said, his voice thick with a gratitude that felt worth so much more than 30 cents. My supervisor, Dale, came in at 7:30. He immediately spotted the missing pie in the short register. "You gave away inventory," he said, holding the receipt like it was a murder weapon. "Company policy is clear. This isn't a soup kitchen." I tried to tell him about the man. It's a hollow eyes to desperation. But he just cut me off. "Clean out your locker." 2 years of double shifts and holidays, all gone over 30 cents and a slice of pie. I walked home past the college I dreamed of attending, my mason jar feeling impossibly light. When I got home, my mother's weak voice called out, "How was work, baby?" "Fine, Mama," I lied. "Just fine." That evening, I sat on the porch, trying to figure out how to tell her I'd day-lost my job. Suddenly, the air began to vibrate. A deep rumble grew from the ground up, rattling the windows. The sound swelled into the synchronized roar of over 100 Harley engines. A convoy of chrome and leather rolled down my block in perfect formation. The lead rider stopped right in front of my house and took off his helmet. It was him, the man from the diner, but now he looked dry and purposeful. "Ma'am," he called out, "my name's Jake. That was my brother you helped this morning." My breath caught in my throat. Another rider walked up, holding a thick stack of $20 bills. "Nobody should lose their job for showing a little kindness," he said, handing it to me. Saddlebags opened up. More riders came forward, pressing envelopes and handfuls of cash into my arms. The pile grew heavy enough for tuition, for books, for everything. Jake looked me right in the eye. "Small acts of kindness," he said, "create the biggest ripples." One by one, they gave a final salute and rode off, leaving the street smelling of gasoline and new beginnings. I stood there, holding proof that compassion is its own kind of currency. Later that night, I finally opened my acceptance letter. My mom came to the doorway, leaning on the frame. "What was all that noise?" "Se Hasket. Just some friends stopping by," I said, a smile finally reaching my eyes. We sat together, and the old photos of her in her nursing uniform felt less like a distant memory and more like a promise I was about to keep. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe for more stories that show the power of kindness.